Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Motivational Monday. We hope that you are here for the vibes because somehow, some way, we happen to bring the vibes every Monday. So, welcome to Motivational Monday. You all already dropped asking for the song in the chat, so I'm going to drop that in right now. I am incredibly excited for today's session. I think that this month is a really profound month. I feel like so many of us deal with stress and anxiety. That's what we're on this month. Last year we did a lot of things, but last month we did sleep and hydration. This month we're doing stress and anxiety management. And I had to bring out the one and the only Aaron because he is so good at helping you realize that it's not that serious. And even if it is that serious, there are ways that we can start to get out of it and ways that we can build our own internal support systems to help us navigate through stress because stress is not a state that we're supposed to live in at all times, but unfortunately, we do. So, step one is how do we learn how to even move our stress a little bit? How do we move through it? How do we make some change? How do we find some positivity? And I'm incredibly excited for today's session. So, a couple of announcements. Last week was anxiety with Candace. So if you haven't watched that episode, there is a difference between stress and anxiety. They operate differently. The way you handle them is very differently, and also the larger, more exacerbated forms of stress and anxiety show up in very different ways. So that recording was sent to you on Thursday. So go look for that in the email, or you can find our YouTube as well. This week we are doing stress with Aaron. So today's episode is how to stop letting stress run your life. And then next week, it's a holiday on Monday, so we will not have an episode and we'll resume after that. So without further ado, I don't have any other great, wonderful, beautiful things to do other than to announce Aaron. So we've got the wonderful Aaron here. He is one of our certified life guides. He is really incredible. If you were here last year for Motivational Monday and the deep dive, him and I did a lot of work together. So hopefully it's not your first time seeing him. But if it is, then welcome. You get to explore him and experience his wisdom and hopefully use him as a guide to navigate your life. Because there's two ways that Life Guides works. One is these events where we bring our guides out publicly to have a conversation with you. Motivational Monday is all built on how do we give you guys information and wisdom today that's going to catapult you throughout the rest of the week, give you things to think on, help give you relatable, practical tips for growing and showing up in your life, and then how to keep you having that motivation. And it's so funny because I created Motivational Monday with the intention of, well, actually, from the statistic that if you're going to have a heart attack, it's most likely to be on a Monday morning. Conveniently, we're talking about stress and anxiety, and I feel like the Monday blues are really real for a lot of people. You can drop 111 in the chat if you relate to that. So I wanted to combat that. I wanted to give us something to look forward to on Mondays. And I don't know about you, but my Monday is infinitely better because of Motivational Monday. So you get to know and explore Aaron. He is here to help you rediscover your inner wisdom and personal power by integrating spiritual knowledge with practical self-mastery techniques. And that's everything that he's going to bring to the table today. So I'm dropping Aaron's Life Guides link in the chat. If you're interested in learning more about him and how he can possibly help you, you can check out that link. And Aaron, can you give us a little bit of an introduction to today's conversation before we dive in?
Absolutely. First of all, Kira, thank you for that amazing introduction as always. Shout out to everybody who's out there watching. Once again, my name is Aaron Rose, as Kira said, and today we are talking about the importance of how to manage stress because everybody has it, whether you believe it or not. But we want to get out of this mindset as to not recognizing that you do have it because there's a lot of us who are so used to the stress that it's almost like it's second nature to us. And long term, over time, it's gonna catch up with you, and next thing you know, it'll hit you like a ton of bricks, and you don't want that to happen. So we are going to be here to coach you, well, not coach you, but give you some good mental advice on what is stress, how to deal with it, and how to really get rid of it.
Yes. So here's the thing. It's really interesting. About 50% of people experience stress on a daily basis. Drop 222 in the chat if you're one of those people. And this is why talking, I know, right? Literally same. this is why talking about it is really important because I think, first of all, we need to normalize the fact that, like, yes, we're all stressed. And two, we also need to realize that our stress is real. So it's not to minimize the conversation of, oh, we all have stress, it doesn't matter, because sometimes that's the narrative in our heads. But it's to show you that you're not alone. A lot of people are dealing with it. And even though it's normalized, it's not normal in our body, the way that we were made as these creatures that we are, to experience this level of stress on such an exacerbated level. And the 222s are all up in the chat. Everyone experiences it. So, what's really cool though is I feel like we're starting to be in a society where we understand that navigating our stress is important. There was a worldwide study that was done with 130 countries with 300,000 participants. And they did all of these studies on stress. But the cool statistic that I found that really stuck out is that only 7% of participants did nothing about their stress, which means that 93% of people were doing something, or were at least trying or making strides. So if you all have things that you do, drop it in the chat what your stress reliever is, because that could be helpful for someone else. We've got 93% of you who do something every day to help you with your stress. What was really interesting, and we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go on, is that out of this global study, women in high income countries experienced more stress than men. And there's a lot of differences in stress in women and stress in men, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But I also wanted to talk about workplace stress. I've got two statistics about workplace stress because Life Guides is a benefit that your employer has paid for you to use. So this is coming from your work environment saying, hey, we understand that there's some stress. So more than 80% of US workers have reported experiencing workplace stress, and more than 50% believe that their stress related to work impacts their life at home. I can deeply relate to that. And what was really, really cool was that more than 85% of employees reported in 2021 by the American Psychological Association that actions from their employer would help their mental health. So the cool thing is that not all companies focus on their employees' well-being mentally, physically, emotional, spiritually, but your company has. And you have a tool, you've got Life Guides as a free resource to help you navigate that. And there are a lot of people who wish that they had similar tools that you do, but you have them for free. So I highly suggest starting to use them because there's a lot. We'll talk later about stress, what stress does to your body, but it impacts a lot of different layers of us. And if you have free tools at your fingertips to start using, then I highly suggest doing that. So, Aaron, I want to hear a little bit more about your experience with stress in your lifetime.
Absolutely. And to start that off, as you were talking, I literally decided to look up the word, what stress is, because you know how you get so used to hearing it, and most people are like, yeah, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. But it's like, okay, but what exactly is it? Because we can get used to saying I'm stressed, but most people really don't know the definition and what it entails. So I would say this really quickly, and then I'll jump into the question. But it says, stress is the body and mind's response to perceived pressure or threat, whether real or imagined. It happens when your nervous system senses that the demands placed on you exceed your current capability to adapt, respond, and feel safe. On a biological level, stress activates survival chemistry. Adrenaline sharpens alertness. Cortisol mobilizes heart rate rises, muscles tense, useful in short bursts, destructive when prolonged. Now, a lot of mouthful with that information, but again, now we know what stress entails. So to answer your question about my experience with stress, funny thing was, I never thought that I was stressed. I was literally that guy that was like, no, I'm always happy, I'm cool, I have a good time. But I really dove deep into that question and said, wait a minute, I actually normalized stress to where I was a type of person where I was not stressed, but I was the go-to person. If my friends wanted to call me about their problems, I took on their stress and I became my stress. When I was around other people, same exact thing happened. So it's like I became that rock holder where, oh, I'm used to listening to people stuff. It's not bothering me. Or I'm used to going at work and my boss says something and I'm just like, let me blow it off. The next thing you know, I'm having a good time. But it internalizes energetically. Now I'm having outbursts and I'm not realizing, dude, you're actually stressed because you took so much onto it. So that's actually a very dangerous thing. So I always tell people step one, admit that you are stressed. It's not a bad thing because it could be something as simple as, making your cup of coffee didn't go right. So it stresses you out. Your kids, if you have them anywhere that you go to, stress is not a bad thing unless you completely hold it in. And we also have to remember it's an energetic thing. Our bodies are not just muscle and tissue. We forget that energy is also involved. So there's energy coming from your phone, from your family, from your friends, from the Wi-Fi networks, from being in a building. All of that is compressed energy onto you. And when you don't know how to release it, it internalizes, and that's what turns into what we call diseases. Because if you hyphenate the word disease, it just means dis-ease, your body not at ease. And that's what brings the aging fast and the wrinkles and having to check out from work. So my personal experience has literally always been stress, but now that I recognize it, I know how to release it. So
So beautiful. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that as well. I feel like we take on a lot of people's stress, whether it's other people's expectations or their stories or whatever it is. And one, we can have better boundaries, but two, we can use our own coping mechanisms to either help ourselves navigate through it or help our friends navigate it or get a guide to help us navigate it, right? So I was saying before, I love that you read the definition about stress, Aaron, because what I heard is that stress is a perceived ability. Well, it's the perception that we have more on our plate than what we can actually handle.
mm,
And what's really interesting is that women aren't inherently under more stress than men. That's not what I'm about to say in this next thing. It's that women perceive stress more significantly than men. So we can have the exact same level of stress, the exact same things happening, but if you see the stress levels in a male versus a female, women's stress will be much higher than a man. So this is incredibly important just to realize because we have to understand whether you're a male or a female or however you identify that there are some differences and we also have to be very responsible for ourselves and our own body and we can't just normalize things away and we can't just look at other people and be like, "Oh, well, they can handle it, so I can handle it too." I think there's an incredible power that comes in when we're like, "Oh, I can't handle that. Oh, I need help." Oh, I have taken on too much. I'm a little overwhelmed. I've been under the weather. I don't have the capacity for that. There's a level of honesty, a level of trust, and a level of communication that you have with yourself that you can express to others that helps you be able to navigate differently. And I want to talk about the physical ailments that come with a lot of stress because Aaron said it in the definition as well. He's like, short-term stress is actually needed. Long-term exasperated stress is not good. So, short-term stress gets you out of bed, gets you completing those projects, gets you reaching those goals and taking action. Long-term stress leads to an increased risk of heart disease, which is one of our top killers, hypertension, stroke, weakened immunity, so having less energy, being less at work, digestive issues, mental health disorder, cognitive decline, obesity, and accelerated cellular aging. So it's not just a mental thing. I think a lot of times we think that it's all up here, but it is affecting every single layer of us. And Aaron, I know that you work with a lot of members specifically with stress and anxiety, which is why we brought you into today's conversation. What stories do you typically hear your members talking about regarding their stress?
before I dive into that, I want to absolutely agree with you when you said that women have a higher rate when it comes down to stress, simply because, let's be honest, women are more emotional. And that's not to say a bad thing. You guys are literally built off of how you feel, and your feelings can get you in trouble, not women per se, but when you're by yourself, you feel great, but you can pick up on other people's energy. So your feelings can be like, heightened awareness. So I definitely do respect that very thing because, you won't go too deep into it, but you give birth and you have to carry the load of a lot of things going on too. So it's a lot of respect on that for my fellas as well too. But again, for you to say that is very important. So when it comes down to um, most of the stress that I hear from my clients, a lot of them actually are women. Not saying they're stressed, but most of my clients are women more so than men. But whenever people come to me, the number one thing that they tell me about is it's stress from other people. They push that, they receive that energy onto them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, what brought you to me today? And I'm like, they tell me the story about what this person did, family member, friend, jobs. So when you think about it, like I said, when you're by yourself, when you're not working or you're doing anything else, everybody's like, I'm chill when I'm by myself. But when I get around other people who are unhealed and they have trauma and they haven't learned to actually get over these very things or how to heal themselves, it's like passing a hot potato around. I don't know if anybody ever played the game hot potato, but the potato is basically hot. You don't have a real potato, but you have to literally keep passing it around. And if you think about it, it's a fast paced game. In this world that we live in today, it's fast cars, fast internet, fast coffee, always getting stuff done. You never take the time to literally say, give me a moment to breathe. And even if you do have time to breathe, you're like, okay, I got about 5 to 10 minutes for me to relax. Then I got to go right back into it. So, because they have not taught us what stress is, but specifically how to get rid of stress and regulate our bodies, a lot of people are coming to me with these very experiences of someone else that I'm dealing with, that I'm taking care of, is pushing that energy onto me. And because I don't know how to get rid of it and they don't know how to get rid of it, we're all handing out stress cards to each other and it's building up to becoming the worst thing possible.
Oh, I relate to that. And it makes me think about work because like I'm not always around people when I'm stressed, but there's a lot of times I work remotely, obviously, where I have stress about work things. And again, it's because I wasn't able to express myself or people placed responsibilities on me that I wasn't able to be like, hey, I couldn't do that. Or I just keep cycling in my head. But when like I've got no responsibilities and nothing going on, I'm a free, happy little bird. But that's not always the case when we've got relationships and expectations and responsibilities. And again, I think stress is what helps us move forward, but I also think that stress can paralyze us and stop us from doing anything as well. And it definitely is this like balancing act, this double-edged sword. So, Aaron, when you're hearing these stories from your members, what's one of your first steps in helping them manage their stress?
Well, like I said, the very first thing is acknowledge that you are dealing with stress. Because, like I said, when you don't acknowledge it, you get so used to ignoring it, and that's not a good thing. Even if you don't feel it, because remember I said that I got so used to normalizing, taking on everybody else's energy, I didn't recognize it. Step one, I say admit that you're stressed. The second part is very, very easy. Is take a moment to breathe and listen to your body. And you'll be so surprised how many times I hear this, especially from work people. I don't have time. I don't have time. It's like if there was a I don't have time song, that's what be going on in everybody's mind because they're thinking about time in terms of I need vacation. I need to get away. I need to set up a whole day. And it's like, no, you're looking at time in the wrong format. If you're in a meeting and you need to step away for a few moments, that is time. If you're on a call right now and you need to say, please hold, let me check on something, 1 minute is taking time away. When you go to the restroom, take time away. It's like we walk away and we're like, I still got to do all these other different things. So, in between time, most people don't recognize how to actually utilize time within that. So, I always say, again, step one is admit it. Step two, actually take a moment to breathe. And we'll be doing this much later, so I won't get into it now, but you'll be surprised how 30 seconds to stop, breathe, and regulate your nervous system will literally be like restarting your computer. I'm pretty sure everybody, anytime you had to call like a network and you're like, hey, my Wi-Fi is down, first thing they tell you, unplug it, wait 10 seconds, and start it back up. And whenever you do it, the very thing that was causing that energetic problem, 10 seconds, reset, cut off, put it back in there. Oh, it's working now. Our bodies are no different. They literally created electronics from our bodies. You need to take the exact same time, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, wait, come back, you're good.
So beautiful. Such a good analogy. I feel like that's going to be playing in a lot of people's heads this week. So I'm so glad that you did that. And I love what you talked about with people feeling like they need time for a vacation because I think sometimes we think that running away from our problems is a solution to our problems. But if we develop daily habits to manage our stress, then we don't go on vacation and then come back to the same level of stress or even more. We're able to actually enjoy every day and then enjoy our vacation. And I used to run away from all of my stresses and all my responsibilities. And now I have no desire to travel right now. I'm like, oh, I know how to handle this every day. I don't feel like I have to run away anymore. So, Aaron, when we're taking that moment to breathe, what's actually happening in our body? And after you tell us that, can you take us through a little exercise? Can you show us? Can you help us work with the breath all in one?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so before I get into that, one of the things I can say is most people don't know my full story, but 7 years ago, I literally lost everything. I was in the worst predicament of my life. I lost my job, my relationship became homeless in my car. I had no money. You want to talk about stress? I did not have, I even disregarded my family. So I was at the most stressful place. But what saved me literally from going insane, from losing my crap, from actually going off the edge was actually taking a moment to actually breathe and relax. So, once again, most people forget when we're so used to breathing, they don't know what it really does. When I tell somebody, hey, you're not breathing, yes, I am. I'm breathing right now. And it's like, no, there's a difference. Okay. Like right now, I'm talking, I am taking quick breaths, but it's not enough. It's quick, fast, in a hurry. That's like trying to say they take a nap for 30 seconds and then wake back up. It's not going to do anything. So, what we're doing when we take a moment to breathe is one, you are stopping the flow of energy. Because once again, like Kira and I and the people in the audience, we can't see you, but we all know you are great. Kira and I are exchanging energies right now. She talks, I talk, we're going back and forth. We're having a great conversation, but we're not getting enough oxygen. So anytime Kira's talking, I take a moment and I'm actually regulating my breath. You're breathing in not just oxygen, not just, I was going to say H2O, that's wrong. Well, H2O is part of it in the air, but you're taking in energy, you're taking in the elements, your body is going off of breath. So you're allowing your heart rate to calm down. You're allowing your blood rate, because remember, the faster your heart beats, the more it has to overwork and get blood rushing in all types of different locations. There's so much going on within the body that people really don't understand how much work is being put into that. So taking the moment to breathe in through your nose and allow the energy to circulate and then release out resets the body, resets the mind, allows you to calm yourself down to where you can think. Just like, for example, whenever you try to talk to somebody and they're angry, you can't get through to them. All the switches get shut off because their energy and emotions is too high. So trying to talk to them, nothing will get done. But if you say, hey, take a moment to actually breathe, and they calm down, again, unplug for 10 seconds, boom, plug it back in. Are you able to talk? Yes, I feel so much better. Good. Now I can give you the information that you can actually need.
So beautiful. It's true. You gotta just have that reset. So we have a couple more minutes left of the session, and I know that I want you to, and I know that you want to take us through a breathing exercise so we can experience everything that you just talked about in real time. So dive us in.
Excellent. All right, very simple. So, everyone, please take a moment to actually sit down, relax, get comfortable. And the next thing we're going to do is, if you're able to, you're going to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I want you to be very relaxed. We're going to do a breathing exercise where I'm going to have you breathe in through your nose, hold and release out of your mouth. And I'm going to count you off, okay? So get very relaxed, close your eyes. We're going to breathe in through our nose for 5 seconds. One, two, three, four, five. Hold for 3 seconds. One, two, three, and release out of your mouth for 5 seconds. One, two, three, four, five. Very again, turn around and breathe in good energy and oxygen through your nose. One, two, three, four, five. Hold that good energy for 3 seconds. One, two, three, and release all negativity, stress, and everything else that doesn't bother you. One, two, three, four, five. One more time, deep breath in through your nose. One, two, three, four, five. Hold for 3 seconds. One, two, three, and release everything out of your mouth for 5 seconds. One, two, three, four, five. Now keep breathing on your own, normal. Just sit with yourself. Think about how amazing you are. Don't think about anything else. How does your body feel? How does your mind feel? How does your nervous system feel? And it's okay to say, Aaron, even though I just got done breathing, I'm stressed, I'm this, I'm that, or I'm okay. You're talking to your body, and your body is able to say, hey, I'm going through this. And now that your body's talking to you, you now know what needs to be done in order to get to that very point. But also recognize how you're feeling right now as you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. I'm pretty sure you're a lot calmer. You're relaxed. You're able to focus. And that very thing, you can go ahead and open up your eyes. That very thing will get you throughout the day. We are breathing because we are resetting our nervous system, but we're also shutting off the outside world to say, how do I feel? And if the answer is not too great, take more moments to breathe and calm yourself down. And that way you can reset, unplug, plug it back in.
I love working with people like Aaron. Look at all the hearts. Look at all the hearts. You guys are loving this. This is so good. Okay. So this is what I would suggest for everyone here. I know only some of you are going to take the action. Those are those of you who are very serious about living a better life, feeling better, being a better person for those that you're around. What I would do if I've already worked with Aaron before, but if I was brand new, if I was just figuring this all out, I would schedule a call with Aaron. I'm going to drop his link in the chat. I would be like, Aaron, I typically have 3 to 5 minutes to manage my stress if I'm ever able to get a moment away. And I would ask Aaron, hey, can you take me through a breathing exercise? I would grab my phone, I would take the voice memo app, and I would record that 3 to 5 minutes. And then every time that I needed a reset, a pick me up, a good voice in my head, I would listen to that. And I would let myself start to build the habit of having someone's positive energy come into my brain, reset me, focus me, and get me set to be the person that I know that I am when I'm not just exacerbated and so stressed out, and where I can just be my authentic true self, because I don't think that we are our greatest selves when we're stressed out. I'm not. You guys probably aren't either. So, we're at the end of Motivational Monday. It always goes by so quick. I hope that you all got so much information out of that. I hope that they were practical tools. You can you can go on YouTube and find breathing exercises. You can do all of the things, but we also have a free guide here to help you tailor your stress journey to be something where stress ends up being a friend that helps you live the life that you want to live, and not the foe that keeps you paralyzed from all of the things that you want to do with your beautiful life. So, again, we do not have Motivational Monday next week. It is a holiday, so enjoy that. And Aaron, you've got maybe 30 seconds. Do you have any final words before we close out?
Absolutely. I want you all to take a moment to say this to yourself. I am amazing. I
I'm
am
amazing. I'm great.
I am wise.
I'm wise.
I am stress-free,
I'm stress free.
and I can do anything I put my mind and my spirit to.
And I can do anything I put my mind and my spirit to. So, with
Absolutely.
that, everyone, we are done with Motivational Monday. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you in 2 weeks for Motivational Monday, the deep dive and the deep dive mentorship all at once. There's so much. And you'll see this recording in your inbox on Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.